Objective of this lesson is to learn about using the positional arguments in the format method in Python. Here is the same exact example from last lesson. And as you can see, in the output string, the curly brackets are substituted by the value of the arguments. In this lesson, I'm going one step further and show you how to use positional arguments. The first thing that you can put inside the curly brackets is what is called a positional argument. A positional argument indicates which position of the arguments are going to be used. For example, in this case, I have the same example that I had before, and inside the first curly bracket, I put a 0, and inside the second curly bracket, I put a 1. And if I run this program, I will get the same exact answer that I got last time. The way it works is that, again, Python scans the template string until it gets to a curly bracket. So my template string starts with x space equal space. I should emphasize that space itself is a character, so you should not ignore spaces, or you should not add extra spaces in your outputs when you practice with these format strings. Next, Python goes and gets what is the curly bracket and brings it down here and asks itself, what should I do? What this curly bracket with a 0 inside it tells Python says, go into the arguments and get the argument in position 0. That argument is 583. And so it brings it here. Then it again scans the rest of the template string until it gets to a curly bracket and then appends it to the current string. Then it goes and gets the next curly bracket, brings it down here. And what this tells Python is to go into the arguments and find the argument in position 1 and bring it here. Closes the string, and that would be the answer when you print it. Let's repeat this example with one difference. The difference is in the first curly bracket, I put 1, and in the second curly bracket, I put 0. Everything else is exactly the same. How does Python behave in this case? Let's build the string again. Go into the template, scan it until you get to a curly bracket. That's your start. Then go get the curly bracket, bring it down here. Now, what does this curly bracket tells Python is, go into the arguments and grab the argument in position 1 and bring it here. The argument in position 1 is 9. So Python brings 9 here. Then it scans the template string again and brings it down here. Then brings the curly bracket here. This curly bracket tells Python, go and get the value of the argument in position 0 and bring it here, and that would be 583, and then you're done with your string. And when you print it, you see that it says x is equal to 9 and y is equal to 583. Notice when you compare this example to the example above it, the only difference is that the position of 583 and 9 have been changed. Let me show you some examples of positional arguments using the Python environment. The first example is exactly the same as it was in the slides. So when I run this, you see that the answer would be x is equal 583 and y equal to 9. What do you think will happen if rather than 0 and 1, what if I say 0 and 0? And you're right. X is equal to 583 and y is also equal 583. You see that each time Python encounters the bracket 0, it goes into the position 0 of argument, which is 583, and replaces that curly bracket with that value. It doesn't matter how many times it encounters it. Any of these arguments can be either a string or a floating point number or any other object. For example, here I can say this argument is cat, and this other argument can be a list. And let me replace both zeros, one of them to be 1. And when I run this, you see that you have x equal to cat and y is equal to a list with 2 elements of 9 and dog. Here is another example of positional argument, just to show you that positional arguments do not necessarily have any order, and they can also work on strings. The first positional argument inside curly bracket is 1, which corresponds to the argument which is a string John, and the next positional argument in the second curly bracket is 0, which corresponds to 30. So if I print my string, I see that it says John is 30. And the way this is built is, again, as usual, Python starts building the string, scans until it gets to the first curly bracket, which in this case is this curly bracket with the 1 inside it, brings it down, then it goes and finds the argument in position 1, which in this case is John, so it brings John in here. Next, it scans again until it hits another curly bracket. In this case, the string is space, I-S space. I emphasize again, always pay attention to spaces. Bring this string down here. Then you go and grab what is inside your curly brackets and bring it down here. And then you find the positional argument which corresponds to that index. In this case, that is 30, and then you bring the 30 here, and that is the string that Python builds. So what did you learn in this lesson? You learned to use the positional arguments in the format method in Python.